All gamers are absolutely dominating the PL lobby right now. There generally seems no one stopping them. They won week 1 and then followed it up by winning week 2 as well. And honestly, no one saw that coming. Before the season began, most people expected teams like Thundertalk, Weibo, Tianba or LGD to control the weekly finals. But instead, all gamers stepped in and showed everyone what real dominance looks like. The kind of plays they've pulled off in these first 2 weeks have been unreal. Clutches with explosive posts, perfectly timed attacks and defenses, and decisions that we rarely even see at global events or in other regional tournaments. And Huahua, what an insane player, man. He's an absolute blessing for AG. This year, All Gamers sold 676 and Gun God and brought in Huahua, one of the most expensive signings of the season. His base price was 4 million Chinese yuan. Now if you convert that, it comes to roughly around 579k US dollars. And in Indian rupees, around 5.25 crores. Now honestly, as an Indian myself, that kind of valuation for a PUBG Mobile player just feels unreal. It's a massive number. But if these calculations are accurate, let me know in the comments. Then it really shows how huge PUBG Mobile is in China. And looking at the way Huawei is performing right now, all gamers buying him might just be the best decision they've made. Now the current AG roster features Huahua, Sima Guang, Shan, Xianzai, and Zifeng. And this lineup is incredibly fun to watch. So in today's video, we're just going to sit back, react and take a look at some of the matches where all gamers just went absolutely insane. All gamers began this season as one of the breakout stage teams. Now for those who aren't familiar with the PEL format, the breakout stage works like a weekly playoff round. 16 teams play 6 matches in a single day, and the top 10 from that qualifies for the weekly finals. This format repeats every week, and it continues like this for a total of 7 weeks. All gamers finished second in the very first breakout stage, which secured their spot in the weekly finals, the first weekly finals. Across those 6 games, they picked up points in every single match. 5 of them were single-digit performances. But what really pushed them to that second place finish was a huge 26-point game in match 3. So let's quickly break down that match. The flight path was diagonal and the circle formed towards the northeast. AG opted for a 3-1 split drop, 3 players landing around Mirta, while Lingyu, also known as Shan, dropped alone at farm. Nothing special here. The purpose of the split was simply to gather information about any teams landing in the farm area. If they get some info, well and good. If not, they don't lose anything either. This is a basic thing. Also, AG are already inside the circle, positioned right at the edge, so rotations aren't a big concern for now. They can take their time, loot properly, and plan their next move without any pressure. And that's exactly what they do. AG slowly moved deeper into the zone, looting compounds along the way, eventually reaching shelter, where Shan, while scouting ahead, nearly gets taken down by Jimmy. He literally escapes in 10 HP. Shan is the IGL, by the way.
好在对于李玉来说，现在看看你现在看看这车多好走。
李玉这也是鬼门关过了一下的。
对呀。
Then the second circle shifted towards the northwest, pushing AG out of the zone. They were only slightly outside the edge, but the good part was that they were already on the move. So instead of entering the circle directly, AG chose to take an anti-clockwise rotation and secure a compound right on the northeastern edge of the zone. Now, the reason they didn't enter the circle directly is because they were thinking about the long-term impact of that move. Remember, every rotation, every compound you choose to hold has a long-term consequence. If you don't think ahead, you end up ruining your game without even realizing it. Like in this situation, let's understand it from AG's perspective. They are out of the circle, and at the same time, Crab are rotating almost parallel to them. So AG can clearly see Crab moving north, and RSG did take shots on Crab. So the information AG has at this moment is that RSG holds this compound, and Crab are moving north. This is the point where it's all about how good AG can assume the team's movements and act accordingly. Crab are moving north, so there are multiple possibilities from AG's perspective. They might stop at the stunt house to gatekeep AG if they rotate that way. They could take control of this compound if it's clear. They might even enter Yasnayam, or they could do exactly what AG are planning, move even further north to secure a stronger edge position. Now, if AG decide to enter the circle directly from this position, what's their plan? Where do they even hold? They can't move north because RSG will have a clear line of sight and will definitely take shots on them. And even if AG somehow make it through, they still have no clarity on Crab's next move. What if Crab have already taken control of this compound? If that's the case, AG would end up trapped, sandwiched between RSG behind them and Crab ahead of them. Now yes, they could rotate south, but that's even riskier. The teams that drop farm, Pochinki and military base will eventually have to enter from this side. Even if some of them choose a clockwise rotation, there's still a strong chance a few teams push in from this direction. And if AG rotates out at the same time, it instantly turns into a chaotic rotational clash. Now, forget all these things and let's assume the school hill is somehow clear. Let's assume this compound is also free and AG managed to take control of one of them. But what if the next circle shifts north? What's the plan then? There's almost no chance AG gets a clean path into the next zone. The school resort area is one of the most contested area in the game, and the moment the circle moves north, the entire area will be crowded. So even in the best case scenario, AG would be setting themselves for a very high risk mid to late game. Now, according to me, AG did the exact same thing here. They considered the long-term impact, realized that entering the circle directly wasn't the right move, and instead chose to take an anti-clockwise rotation towards the north. And for your information, Titan Esports Club were already holding this compound, and RSG were having a massive split, so all gamers wouldn't have any chance of surviving if they entered directly. And all gamers didn't know about these things at all. They didn't know about TC, but Shan assumed these things. The long-term impact, the compounds probably being held, very well. That's how a good IGL operates. Then the next circle took a hard shift north, and since AG are already holding this compound, they had a clear path into the zone, so they immediately began the rotation. They then take control of a ridge near the Yasnaya Lake in a 2-2 split. Kone decided to fully commit to a push onto AG, forcing a proper team fight. But AG had the terrain advantage, along with a plank house to play around, and they used it perfectly, eliminating Kone from the match. TJB do manage to steal one elimination in the process. Now while the fight was happening, the next circle had formed, and it shifted north once again, pushing AG slightly out of the zone. But it wasn't a major issue. They would easily step in and hold the edge of the circle. Muawa then spots Mughal, the last surviving player from the Chosen, and takes him down. At the same time, Shan and Zafeng go out on a vehicle, looking for some safe place near the edge of the circle to hold for now. While on the other side, just watch how good Huawei is with DMRs.
在卡边的时候，卡窄边的时候出了点问题就倒地。
HG 今天的作战状态也是非常不错的。
是的，
所以说呢，一旦把握住了这样的一个破绽的话，恐怕不会给对方一个转圜的余地。
神
刺也倒了，这
啊，
是完全的在被撕裂窗口。而刚才我们提到的 AG 和 HHG 这样的一个向北部进发的相互关系，可能会彼此影响。
但是好像第一个倒地的被扶起来了啊 ，Crab 这边
打的虽然很艰难，但一息尚存。
是的还活着。圈刷走了，那也就意味着 Crab 跟 SP 要打生死环。
哦，这颗手雷来自于何方？来自于北斋。
这个烟也是个大缝，但是他没倒，哎，倒了。
倒了，还是倒了。
阿青对最后一枪是给到了。
这个位置可以说是打成2败俱伤了，但是 AG 现在把更多的注意力全部放到了 HHG 这一侧。
对，因为风险评估上来说 ，HHG 对于 AG 的风险性会更大。
没错，那这样的话 ，HG 虽然说
All gamers then catch Krabby Sports off guard while they are busy fighting VS, and they capitalize on it, completely eliminating Crab from the match. And then it all came down to a 4v4 between all gamers and 4 AM for the win. A fight that was honestly very exciting to watch.
出来了，想走子枫那块，因为这个时候南部高点价点不会有很多人的。
就看子枫大力出奇迹一喷，这样的话只剩下经典的墨竹1-1了。墨竹还是一把爆炸力攻，不过好在任拍马赶到丝线的情况之下，拔掉了子枫这个点。AG 现在还有2人编制，
因为 AG 刚才是七彩编制了，现在后院失火，高点没了。
可以1架1伏，其实可以1架1伏，前点牺牲掉就完了。没有任何转圜的余地。
现在 AG 展不开了，因为他现在扶人，你说所有的成员是聚成一坨的。
就是1架1伏。
啊 ，4M 这边
蓝圈对于 AG 来说是最好的朋友。当 4M 人扶起来的时候，他没有时间做出反击了。
对，但 4M 也是倒地很多人，
对，
车线不够密集。
所以对 AG 来说的话，一切依旧尽在掌握。
AG 的优势很大。
林斯科的话在后点被拔掉，只有正面的嗷嗷待哺的2个，倒地的还有小任1个。这种在烟雾当中被锁定的感觉实在是难受。
这梅花桩我都觉得 4M 已经完全没有机会了。
绝望，非常的绝望。
14个淘汰，
还是只剩下任1个。
还有
这颗手雷，恭喜 AG！ 红色流星的方向是星辰大海。
Because of this massive 26-pointer match, all gamers ended Week 1's breakout stage at the 2nd place, qualifying for the weekly finals. And then what happened in Week 1's weekly finals was straight up legendary. After the second day, that's 12 matches, all gamers were sitting with a mammoth 147 points. 47 points ahead of the 2nd place team KSG. And after the final day, they ended with 182 total points, of course, becoming the champions of Week 1. The 2nd place team Tianba ended at 145 points, which means Even if all gamers had just decided to not play in day 3, they would have still be crowned the champions. It was absolute annihilation of the lobby. Now talking about the best match of the grand finals, the third match of day 1 has to be at the top, at least for me. All gamers just refused to die in that match, no matter how worse the situation was. It literally took more than 3 teams to eliminate them out, and I understand why they were so confident in that match. 17 points in the first, followed by a 19 points in the second. So going into the third match, obviously their confidence and momentum would be incredible. All gamers actually looked like the final boss. The moves they pulled off in that match was just unreal. So let's break it down real quick, and I genuinely urge you to not skip this part because I fell in love with AG after this match, and I'm sure it'll happen to you as well. So the flight path stretched from near Zaki all the way down to military base, while the circle pulled extremely far to the north. All gamers stuck to the usual drop, Milta power. Not Milta since that's Tianba's drop. But this time, the circle is really far, so AG have to think about the rotation right from the start. So instead of forcing an early move, Shan decides to delay it. They choose to rotate along with the blue zone, rather than pushing ahead. And as soon as the blue zone starts closing in, AG begin their move. They rotate through Mansion, past the right side of Vesnaya, move along the Stalber ridges, and slowly work their way into the zone. And instead of rushing into the center, they choose to take control of the northeastern edge of the circle. But the next shift pulls hard towards the west, far away from AG's current position, which means they have to rotate all over again. All gamers hop into their vehicles and drive extremely close to the shoreline to secure the cliffs on the northeastern edge of the new circle. But the next shift pushes AG out once again. This is where Shan does his job perfectly. While Huahua, Xianzai and Zifeng are still holding the cliffs, Shan scouts deeper into the circle and checks this hill. And fortunately, it's clear. The other 3 regroup with Shan, take control of the hill, and secure a strong position inside the circle. And from this point onwards, all gamers take control of the game. RSG were holding the sniper tower. Zifeng starts it off with a grenade that connects onto 676. That's the opening knock. Right after that, Huahua follows it up with another nade, and it lands onto Daisy. Second knock secured. And now with 2 players down, the entire squad of all gamers immediately pushes and wipes RSG out of the game. Titan Esports Club gets hold of a dip out here. Xianzai gets open by knocking Span out. And now, watch what happens.
但是有爆炸内功就不一样了。那准度，伤害在不断的跳，但是折磨的是体坛啊。2个大残，一箭双雕，救不了，这个点位完全救不了。白象神也倒了，只剩下沈森森。诸葛森森现在 AG 要动手了，他知道对面倒3个人 ，AG 又来了，极具侵略性的打法，肯定要来啊！没了，在领域的狂轰滥炸之下，体坛
All gamers are now positioned at dead center of the circle, which means they are exposed to pressure from multiple sides. But instead of just sitting back and defending their spot, AG stay proactive. Xianzai takes down Linger from LGT. Huahua eliminates IG from Trinidad, the last surviving player of that squad. Meanwhile, the remaining duo of Tianba barely survive AG's play and manage to slip into a dip very close to all gamers. And at the same time, LGD drive into the circle and also secure a nearby dip, setting up right between AG and Tianba. Now multiple teams are stacked within close range of each other, and the space around all gamers is getting tighter. QZ throws a grenade, and it connects onto Tian. All gamers instantly notice that, so Huahua decides to make a bold move. He knows this side should be clear because LGD just rotated in from there, so Huahua drives wide to that side, creating an off angle onto LGD. And from this new position, he immediately spots a foe and takes him down. LGD realize they are getting trapped and they need to escape quickly. But getting out isn't easy. That's when MVM finds an opening, and that instantly shifts everything. Seeing the knock, LGD wastes no time. They immediately push forward and close the distance onto all gamers.
好像可以修脚啊，能修，其实修2枪可以找机会扔扔雷了。已经开始往前顶了，顶进烟里。林莎手里面是有1颗手雷，猫猫手里有3颗集火雷要来了。那 AG 同样也能扔反制雷啊，看看谁的雷更准吧。现在已经被炸倒了。猫手里面也有3颗雷，但对面已经顶到近点了，来不及再接雷了，只能切枪，先接1个，配合上9，花花连接2个下车。看到林莎3连暴走，火花太后百花杀。
All gamers managed to defend their position successfully. Whoever's off angle ended up being crucial for them in that fight. But then, the circle shifts away from their location. And to make things even worse, their vehicles are almost destroyed. They are in a very tough spot now. But what happens next shows exactly why all gamers own the PL lobby this time.
这样油是很足的，4男1车吗？3男1车，而且他们队内的烟雾弹也不多。对。啊，摔倒了，没办法，确实那个赛局血量太低了。先顶过来，顶了 LT 的近点，花花已经倒了，领域也被放倒。AG 确实是没有全新的眷顾啊。微博肯定要全力出击了，现在只是经典的4打1，只剩仙仔。化身为幻影坦克，捏了一颗瞬爆雷，但是没有太好的效果。还有第2颗雷，对面不知道人在哪。微博找不到最后的光在哪里？一雷炸倒一个，小杰此时此刻还没有发现人在哪，看不见，听不见，摸不到，人在哪里呀？山治现在懵了，敌方何在？拉过来，找到位置，再扫车，有机会吗？躲到掩体后面，有爆炸立功的干扰，只能强行往前走了，还是倒在了山治的枪下呀！1打2，亲自一个人，位置也被原点的 SUK 稳稳架住这场比赛，让我们恭喜微博拿下胜利。
They crashed in with a heavily damaged vehicle and managed to eliminate a player from LGD. Weibo spotted the opportunity and immediately moved into third party the fight. But AG didn't back down. They kept fighting. Xianzha in particular fought till the very end and nearly clutched the situation against Weibo. All gamers didn't win that match, but a 16 elimination third place finish turned out to be their best performance of week 1.
How long has it been?